People would stop me in stores and say, "Hey, you're ready to travel," because they had no picture in the back.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk to him and I'll maybe leave you with.
I'll probably just make one and send it in or something.
That's perfect. Okay, so sounds like you've been in agriculture for a while. Tell me how how you ended up here, and then we can go back through your history.
How I ended up here? Well, in extension, how I ended up extension, I just absolutely love the whole concept of extension. The idea of an extension is a very descriptive name. You're extending the universities. That's NC-A&T and NC State University. I'm specifically affiliated with NC State University, but we're extending those to the community. So extension started really officially back in 1914, and the idea was that the land grant universities that had been formed sometime around and after the Civil War, the federal government gave land to the states. They could sell the land and make a land grant university, they called it, for agriculture and technology. Well, in this state, that's North Carolina A&T and NC State University. But that information wasn't getting out to the people like it needed to. And that's where extension comes in. This county has access to the resources of NC State University. Educationally, troubleshooting for farmers, homeowners, 4-H and youth development, food and nutrition, food safety, all those areas we cover here as educational service to the county. So, 4-H is a very important part of what we do, youth development. It covers so many areas. Yes, it has agricultural components, but we've expanded beyond that. Some people don't realize that. I mean, it can be urban too, science, just electronics clubs, just so many things of interest for kids to help them development. And meanwhile, they learn how to present those things, and so they can we even have great competitions for that, where they can go out and go against other counties and prepare speaking presentations and compete with that, where they get that confidence, which lets them be influences in their community later. Right. And I just love that aspect of it, because so many people grow up and they really can't walk into perhaps a county commissioner's meeting and be influential.
Right.
These kids are being taught how to do that.
That's really neat. Yeah, I mean, there's kind of two aspects. There's different aspects to that.
4-H had a really cool start because it was originally tomato clubs and corn clubs.
Oh, really?
And the tomato clubs did a lot of things like canning, and it was at that point kind of like girls and guys usually, and the guys were typically the corn clubs. And what they were doing was the farmers weren't just letting people coming from NC State and tell us newfangled ways to grow this corn. So they would work with their kids and get the kids, the farmer, to give their kid an acre or so. Then they would go out and just grow the daylights out of that acre, and Dad would say, okay, how'd you do that? And so it really started that interaction between the university and the farms a little bit better.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you know a ton about extension. How long have you been working with
extension?
Yeah.
1993 I started. Okay. I was up in the northeast part of North Carolina.
Okay.
And I did that until about 2002, and I became a missionary. And I traveled, spent 2 years in Venezuela, a year in Costa Rica, and then 8 years in southern Mexico working with indigenous.
Wow.
And indigenous communities in that area, which I love that. We found that the work we did there had taken hold, taken root, self-sufficient, self-supporting. We were able to come back to the U.S. And when I came back, I've only had a job with 2 organizations since college, Extension and the mission organization.
Wow.
So I came back, applied to Extension again, and here I am back in North Carolina and loving it.
So you're just now coming back from the mission?
No, that was in 2014.
Okay,
I worked before with Extension during that time, and then now I'm here. My family is from Rockingham, Hamlet area. That's where all they're from. My dad, after World War II, he went to school and ended up being a teacher up outside of D.C. So as soon as they never really seemed to fit in up there, and as soon as he retired, they were down here. As soon as I got out of school in Virginia Tech, I came down.
Cool. So what drew